On the evening before I was shipped off to Manila for college, my elder brother sat me down and handed me a bottle of beer. Underage drinking kapatid, huwag mong tutularan. He then proceeded to drop premium high-octane wisdom on college, dating, and living a good life. Ngayong nagtatapos na ang bakasyon at malapit nang magsimula ang klase sa law school, hayaan mong tayo ay maupo kapatid kahit sandali lang. At ikwento ko sa iyo ang ilang mga bagay na sana ay ginawa ko bago ako pumasok sa law school. Here are the 5 things I wish I did before I went to law school. Coming right up! Hi, my name is Lex and welcome to Lex in Motion. In this channel, I'll be helping you build your competence, confidence, and capability in law school. Start today by hitting the subscribe button below. New episodes are posted every Friday. Last week, I was doing an interview with a fellow content creator and we were talking about how much law school content is actually out there, kapatid. We talked about the resources incoming law students now have. My guest for the next installment on Law School Story shared that when she first came to law school many years ago, wala pang mga video sa YouTube tungkol sa kung anong kakaharapin niya o namin sa aming pagpasok sa law school. Wala ring mga resources of mga Facebook groups na maaaring mapagtanungan ng mga bagay gaya ng kung magkano ang tuition, ano ang mga requirements, ano ang mga dapat ihanda, magkano ang mga libro, at kung paano ang turo o aral sa law school. Sabi niya na hindi naman din malaking kagulatan sa kanya dahil nung panahon niya ay may mga ate at kamag-anak siya na nauna na sa kanya sa law school. Sila ang nagbigay sa kanya ng mga kasagutan at mga payo sa laban na kanyang kakaharapin. For my part, kapatid, ikinwento ko sa kanya na wala akong kamag-anak na abogado o kamag-anak na nangahas na pumasok sa law school. Wala rin akong mga kaibigan na mapagtatanungan dahil ako ay likas na mahihiyain sa tunay na buhay. During this interview, my guest and I agreed that we turned out just fine. Nevertheless, if there was one thing I wish I did before I went to law school, it would be to learn as much about law school as possible. Sa iyong pagpasok sa darating na mga araw o linggo, marami kang mga nagiging tanong sa buhay sa law school, kapatid. At gusto kong sabihin na narito ako para sagutin ang mga yan. I have made earlier episodes on the requirements you have to submit before you are admitted to law school. I also have tips on what to expect on your law school entrance exam and interview. I also have videos on the essential skills you will need to master in law school, including but not limited to writing case digests, how to read for law school, how to study for law school, how to prepare for exams, how to cram kapag wala ng oras, at mga tips na rin on how to answer exam questions and how to spot issues in every problem. I enjoyed my interview with my guest and I suppose she also enjoyed the interview. That right then and there we started recording podcast episodes. I hope you watch out for these in the future. Sabi pa ng aking guest, kapatid, ay sobrang dami ng resources ngayon ng mga incoming first years. Marami na silang alam. Hindi tulad namin na pumasok sa law school ng mangmang, aligaga at dudang-duda sa aming pinasok. I hope you make the most out of these resources. Second, I wish I spent more time with my family before I went to law school. During my time in law school, I had to move from the province to Manila so I could go to law school. I left behind the life and perhaps the only life I knew and understood. I left my hometown and that left me homesick a lot. Ngayong panahon na ang law school ay online na at hindi mo na rin kailangang magsuot ng pantalon bago ka makapasok sa klase, ay parang hindi na applicable ang spending time with your family. Law school has the peculiar effect of driving a wedge between your family, your loved ones, and yourself. Law school will effectively take up a vast majority of your time, energy, and attention. If you aren't careful, law school can quickly take over your entire life. May mga araw kasi na wala kang kailangang gawin o tinatamad ka lang magbasa. Sa mga araw na ito, madalas ay wala ka rin namang lakas o atensyon na maitutuon sa iyong pamilya, jowa o tropa. Mas madalas ay wala ka ring oras para sa kanila kahit gusto mo silang bigyan ng atensyon. May mga pagkakataon din na may oras ka nga at gusto mo din silang bigyan ng atensyon. Ay walang-wala ka namang lakas kahit makipag-usap man lang. Before you come to law school, before the new school year starts, find the time for you to actually sit down with your parents, with your partner, or even with your spouses and children. Tell them in advance about the life that's waiting for you, na mawawalan ka na ng oras para sa kanila, na kailangan mo ay nandyan lang sila. Sabihin mo rin na selfish ngang pakinggan pero heto ang buhay na naghihintay sa'yo, na sa ngayon ay kailangan kanilang intindihin na kaunting katahimikan sa tuwing ikaw ay magbabasa, na ikaw ay likas na marupok na, at kaunting yaya lang na manood sa Netflix ay bibigay ka na. Hingin mo na ilayo ka na muna nila sa mga tukso, gala at kung pwede ay mga gawaing bahay. Another thing I wish I did before coming into law school was spending time with myself. I've mentioned this before, kapatid, that law school is a terrible place to be. Most of that comes from the mental health strains that come with living the beautifully dangerous life of learning the law. My decision to come to law school was mostly a spur of the moment thing. I didn't plot out when or how I would go to law school. Not much planning came into play for me. As a direct result thereof, I was not 100% ready when I came to law school. Spending time with myself would have solved this, kapatid. Kung uulit ako ngayon sa law school at papasok ako ngayon na panahon ng pandemya, ay magkakaroon sana ako ng panahon para maupo, magnilay at aralin kung ano ba ang magiging diskarte ko sa law school. Just as in the previous item, law school will effectively eat up a huge chunk of your time. Until and unless you are able to set aside 24 hours of each week as your rest day, you will eventually burn out in law school. Your productivity will drop, your focus will waver, and you will find yourself unable to read through the day's assignments. Law school will take up a lot of time for yourself. Most of the struggles you will have in law school will involve a lot of self-doubt and regret. Pagdududahan mo, kapatid, ang iyong desisyon na pumasok sa law school. Pagsisisihan mo rin kung bakit ka pumasok sa law school. May mga araw na mapupuno ka ng panghihinayang dahil kung hindi ka sana nag-law school ay katulad mo na rin ang yung mga high school or college barkada na nagpo-post na sa homebodies ng kanilang nabiling bahay o mga latest budol nila. Manghihinayang ka sa lumilipas na panahon na sana ay nagsimula ka na ng iyong sariling pamilya. Sa mga ganitong pagkakataon, ang tanging lunas, kapatid, ay alagaan mo ang sarili mo. Spend time with yourself, doing the things that you love, and making yourself happy. You can watch the movies you like, read the books you want, or play the games you're already into. You can also put on makeup and your best clothes, snap a selfie and delete it later. Just because. Do anything and everything you can to make yourself feel special. I wish I spent more time with myself before I went to law school because I wish I planned out my year, my semester before I actually did battle. All I was able to do for myself was to pack 2 plastic boxes of clothes and fill a cardboard box with a few kitchen things. I wish I was able to say goodbye to my old self. My wife regrets not doing one thing before law school, and that was to travel. She says that her time in law school was very monotonous. It was mostly work, school, a little reading time for us, and then home late at night. Work, school, our reading time, and home late at night. Rinse and repeat with each passing semester. Traveling for her provides 2 obvious benefits. One is the change in scenery that deeply affects her perspective in life. And second, grounding. Grounding is a treatment used in alternative medicine that involves reconnecting to the earth, usually with earth-to-skin contact. I'm not entirely sure that I understand what grounding means for her, but there's something oddly comforting with staring at the endlessness of the ocean under a clear blue sky. There's something very special at trying to count out the stars on a clear moonlit night. In my youth, I also enjoyed staring down the rest of the world atop a high cliff after hours of just climbing. If there's also one thing I regret not doing before I went to law school, that was traveling. For the longest time and up to the present, there has been one activity I secretly enjoy, and that's driving around pointlessly, usually late into the night. Ngayong panahon ng pandemya at ang travel talaga ay nakalaan na lang siguro sa nakaririwasang iilan. Isa sa mga naisip kong gawin in lieu of traveling is visiting our local churches and monasteries here in my hometown. Ngayon sigurong nakalockdown na naman ang karamihan sa atin, baka makatulong ang susunod. Finally, if there's one thing I wish I did during my time in law school, I wish I sat down with someone older, more experienced, and hopefully wiser to give me something of a roadmap of what lay ahead for me in law school. I wish someone sat me down the way my older brother did to teach me all of his mistakes, all of his lessons, and pass along some of his wisdom. In the book Dekada, 10 Life Lessons from 10 Years in Law School, I talked about 10 of the harshest lessons I've learned in law school. It's something of a detailed accounting of my years in law school, the mistakes I've made, and what I've learned from these mistakes. Dekada is something between a memoirs and a handbook, a field guide of all the skills you will need in and out of law school for the next few years of your life. It contains the stories I cannot share on the channel and what I've learned from them. It's a collection of my greatest failures, my greatest triumphs, and the needlessly hurtful things in between. Maraming higit na mas matalinong tao ang nagsulat ng kanilang mga naging karanasan sa law school at kung ano ang mga naging sikreto nila sa pagtatagumpay. Ang aking akda kapatid ay kwento ng isang buong dekada sa loob at labas ng law school. Dekada was written with a singular intention in mind to help support our mission of bringing the law to the people and more people to the law, our mission of helping raise an entire generation of God-fearing lawyers who will bring justice where there is none. Just as I've mentioned in earlier episodes, Dekada is written in a relatively dark tone. I was in a dark place when I wrote it and it shows in what you will read. To those who have pre-ordered the book, I sincerely appreciate your support at bilang pasasalamat, nagparaffle na kami ng one-on-one coaching session. Here are the winners! Grab your copy of Dekada, 10 Life Lessons from 10 Years in Law School through the link in the description down below. Use it as your game guide, your cheat sheet in the years to come. Sa akdang ito kapatid, ako na ang nagduda, nadapa, lumuha at nasaktan nang sa gayon ay hindi ka naman din umabot ng isang buong dekada sa law school. Hindi kumpleto ang isang book launching kapatid kung wala tayong giveaway. So tonight I'm giving away 3 copies of the book Dekada to 3 lucky viewers. Here is how. Share this video on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Kahit saan ka pa active kapatid, basta share mo lang ang link at mag-screenshot ka. Hihingin sa'yo yan for verification later. Second, write a comment on this video. Answer the question why you want to read Dekada. Finally, abangan natin next week kung ikaw ang nanalo. If you would like to see more motivational content for law school, then please let me know by typing yes in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Like and share this video for good law school karma, and I will see you next Friday.